Oh, it gets worse. Condescending white women. All men appear to be absolutely stupid. There's lots of teenage bromance happening this week. Rub your knob. Holly Hunter does a lot of slacking off barefooted for some strange reason. A massive monster holographic meltdown. And even the lezers are fed up with the bullshit. If at first you don't succeed, try again. We're back again with Just Bad Trek. Me and Mr. Phobos. Sadly, Z3PO's developed a bit of an internet issue, so he can't join us tonight. You never know, he might fix things and join us at some point during the show. Hello, Ister. How are you tonight, my friend?
Oh, another grueling, agonizing grind through the dumpster fire that is Academy. I didn't realize, look, he has a big delta on his gym shorts there. What a fucking tool.
Yep, this show's absolutely full of them. We'll pick up where we left off yesterday. Thank you to everybody else who's come back. We'll start with the slide that you requested the most.
I do want to point out that locker room, they're wearing shower shoes identical to what you have to wear today. And it's a tile floor with a drain. And remember, they can just go through the transporter and get all cleaned up, dressed and stuff. Yeah,
so what's happened to that? You know, save water and energy in the future. Just go through a transporter. You're all nice and clean and tidy, fresh pressed uniform, you know, looking good. Maybe even have a bit of a trim around the sides and fronts. So much for the future, eh? It all boils down to it being badly written. It doesn't follow through on the universe it's actually creating as it goes along. Weird.
The memories of the writers do not extend past whatever scene they are bumbling through. So they may come up with something perfect, but you'll never see it again because, oh, it's a different scene, completely new levels of technology. Look at those particle board cheap-ass lockers. Jeez.
Yeah, do you have to stick a token in there, or is it an actual cash thing? Today is a good day to perv in the locker room, said Jay Den. I love that, Jay Den. What a nice play on words.
So I guess his name is Gay Den, then?
Yeah, it's certainly not Ray Den. So anyway, these people, you know, it's a thing about pranking. Pranking is very big. Shenaniganing is not a word, but it is in this show. And people start getting beamed out because, you know, they picked a bit of a fight with the War College. So Starfleet Academy and War College in the same campus. I don't quite get that. Starfleet Academy is apparently new, right? So what's the score with the War College? There's not a great deal of backstory. There's no real intelligent thought. Have Starfleet Academy, you know, merged with this War College? Or what? There's no real logical explanation why there are two schools in the same campus.
Well, I believe the story is, and I'm only estimating here because I couldn't eat enough to continuously vomiting my way through Discovery, and the dry heaving really hurts. So I wasn't able to finish that. But so I believe once the burn happened, which, you know, didn't just turn off warp travel, apparently it sent them all back into straw and mud huts. Now there's some fancy shower shoes, dude.
Oh, yes. And they're sprayed silver as well for your pleasure.
They dissolved Starfleet because they lost war travel. So I guess they became defensive minded and created the War College, which, yeah, they're not making fun of Trump with that at all, are they?
No, not at all. And especially with the Betazoids having a wall. No, nothing like dropping a big hint there at certain issues about modern day USA. You know, this is all a big dig at the Trump administration in parts, I think. But that's me looking from the outside in. Now, earlier on in the chat, I was talking to Silent1. I hope that's the correct username. And he was talking about the moral of the story. And he wanted to know if we, you know, picked up on it about the whole empathy, patience, and having that capacity to grow. I saw this more in the terms of you've got somebody in an educational role that's passing on pearls of wisdom to the younger generation. But it also made me think about schools and colleges in the USA and in Europe as well, about how you've got these left-wing teachers that are basically planting seeds in the minds of the young. Right. And these seeds grow and you end up with these specimens that we've got roaming around at the moment. Your pink hair posse, your Antifa types, all that kind of malarkey. Just a thought. That's just my take on it anyway, looking from the outside in.
Well, obviously, they're advocating for all the things the lefties want. They want open borders. They want complete cultural homogenation. Although, that's not what they want, a certain kind of homogenation. But, they want forced diversity, forced equality. They want everybody to have to admit that everybody's the same, except women are slightly better than men, or significantly better, depending on the. Oh, did we see the hologram that's blowing bubbles? That's a neat trick.
Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. And there are several interesting facets about this hologram that don't make a whole deal of sense. Now, Z did mention last night when I was trying to connect up, the fact that this hologram, Sam, not her, that's obviously Genesis Live, but Sam seems to have the capacity to change her density at will of the writers. There's no rhyme or reason to anything what she's doing, But, people take a shot at her. She can have phasers and stuff go straight through her. There is a bit of a reference to that later from Tig Notaro's character. But did you notice how Genesis is a total melt when she gets pranked? And she wasn't happy at all when she was being pulled out of that pool.
Well, I kind of like that because she's so smug and snarky all the rest of the time. It's kind of nice to see her, lose one. But boy, she doesn't stay that way. The other thing about body positivity hologram is that she doesn't even realize what a liability she is, how dangerous she could be in combat. If phasers go right through her and hit the person behind her, that can be incredibly dangerous for the person standing behind her. Yeah,
pretty much.
Not to mention, why would you allow a hologram who can move as fast as they want, cannot be hit, to participate in a sport where the main threat is getting hit by a phaser?
Yeah.
It strikes me as maybe cheating, just like blowing up a bunch of equipment in order to create some smoke. That would be like in a football match if you blew up the bleachers so all the fans came tumbling on the pitch and knocked over the opposing team. I think that would be a foul in that case, wouldn't it?
Definitely. But then again, cheating's fair if it's your side that's doing the cheating. Congratulations to Flav, who says, evening. He was first in the chat tonight, so well done, sir.
I believe you're incorrect. Sorry, I know I'm the guest, you're the host, but cheating is correct if you're a woman. I don't think it matters what side you're on. If you're a man cheating, that's wrong.
Yeah, it's fine and fair if you're the one doing it and you're getting away with it. If you get caught or you get called out on it, then the person doing, that is ripe for some gaslighting. But that's the modern playbook, isn't it? This was quite an interesting scene. The War College, a Vulcan and a Romulan. And she flips him the bird. I took a screenshot of that so we can analyze that a little bit later on. But this is Cecilia Lee as Zolo. An interesting name for a Romulan.
Not only did she flip him a bird, she flipped him a bird of prey.
Yeah, a double dose, no more, no less. And I noticed this, all these characters that have been beamed around, there's quite a few other extra characters who you didn't see getting beamed.
Oh, look, it's the Thriller guy over on the bottom left. It's the guy from Thriller.
It's the man from the planet Dennis from the Rodham system.
Yeah, it's all the other imaginary students that we never see at any other time.
So to do an advert Federation and Starfleet Academy are that hard up for students of quality. Not only did they do all the DEI hires, but you've also got them advertising. And it's just, I don't know. It's almost like they were ripping off Starship Troopers with like the parody spoof adverts.
Oh
Physical,
my God.
mental, and spiritual.
Did you see the brand new Babylon Bee ad for Starfleet Academy?
I did indeed, and I chuckled immensely. I thought it was quite funny, actually. Very clever. I love it.
And in the end, it's like blah, 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 woke, blah, 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 women power, blah, blah, blah. By the way, we hate men.
Yeah, pretty much. And I didn't like Nala Ake's attitude in this whole episode.
Yeah. Oh,
she's just slobbing around. She's barefooted the mass majority of the time. And she's got this, I mean, she's the chancellor of Starfleet Academy. And she's got this I don't give a shit attitude. If you're there to learn from a seasoned professional, from a person who's supposedly over 400 years old, right, you would expect a more professional demeanor.
Look at that slide. Go back to that slide there. I want to play a little drinking game with you that will leave you stone cold sober.
Seconds.
Let's play Find the White Guy.
That Ferengi looking thing looks white.
I don't think that counts, buddy.
Is that a Ferengi?
Yeah, definitely a Ferengi, but it actually looks a little like what's his name? God, Armin Shimmerman.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of
looks
does.
like Quark, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking more along the lines of what's his name? Wallace Shawn, who played the Grand Nagus.
They have so little imagination, they're going to make every Ferengi look like Quark.
Did you know he was actually red-pilled before red-pilled was a thing?
Armin Shimmerman or
no, Wallace Shawn.
Grand Nagus? Oh.
Yeah. He did a documentary years and years ago. And he was like, calling it out and saying it like it was. And I thought, bravo. My estimation of that guy went severely through the roof.
Well, we just got a brown raid, so I'd like to say hi to everybody who is currently joining us. And
hello
my apologies in advance for the torture. What's
all this raid malarkey? I'm hearing that a lot lately. Is that when people pile on from another channel?
That's when a channel ends and auto redirects to your stream. So we just went up by about 20 viewers. Yeah.
Yeah. We're at 35 right now. Hello to everybody who's just joined in the stream. This is the redux of last night, because last night was indeed shite. It was all technical difficulties at my end, but we're all sorted now. My birthday money went earlier this year on a new computer, whether I liked it or not. But I picked all the parts out myself, and I built my own little computer, and I've not built a PC for about 7 or 8 years. And when I fired this up last night, I was like, ooh, I had to walk away and make a coffee. And I came back and I was in the BIOS and I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Well, I had no technical difficulties on my end, but because I'd watched Discovery in preparation for the show, I had some digestive difficulties, say, on my end, literally.
Yeah. Well, I hope you got some Pepto-Bismol or Klingon blood from Star Trek 6.
Oh my! What the fuck is up with her hair, dude?
I don't know. She's like a crazy white liberal lady who's just all preachy.
Well, that's exactly who she plays, so that works. But like, where is the Starfleet discipline? Where is the Starfleet neatness?
There's none of that.
She's expecting something from cadets that she is unwilling to provide an example for.
Yeah, well, it's do as I say and not as I do. And I wasn't particularly impressed with Gina Shear this week. Lyra Thok is a terrible character. It's just a cliche on top of a cliche, And I don't know. It's just something about the way she inflects words. And she's got a bit of a speech impediment. What is it about the casting department? Have we got to hire people who are people you can't understand in an emergency situation? Like Holly Hunter in the pilot. She's like, she was just like Erica Cartman.
I like it, Ash. You need to show patience and empathy.
Yeah.
So this woman is a well-known UK comedian, I heard.
I'd never heard of it, to be fair. I mean, I don't
Neither
watch
have I.
TV because you have to pay an idiot tax to watch TV in the UK. You have to pay the BBC a television license, which is around 180 quid now, I do believe. I do get a letter every 3 or 4 weeks saying, you haven't got a television license. We've got to pay all Jimmy Savile's victims off still. And just look at this.
I imagine the other chick's face would be really good for shredding garlic.
Do you know what I thought when I saw her pull this face? I was expecting Ric Flair to come out and go, woo! I thought that'd be great. What's happening in the chat? We'll catch up in just a moment. Quite a bit of activity in there.
Ex Flavius just nailed it dead straight on. Thank you, Ex Flavius.
Right. Let me just stick that up on the screen. Thank you for pointing that out, Ista. Ex Flavius in the chat says, another proud warrior race reduced to an overweight DEI impossibility. Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's not about whether you pick the right person for the job. It's about picking somebody who should be in that job but can't get there on their own merits. That's how DEI works. Thing is, somebody made a really good analogy about that. Would you want a DEI pilot if you were flying on a plane? Would you want somebody based on skill, achievement, and qualification? Or would you put somebody in there to fill a quota and tick a box when your life's in their hands?
Remember the airliner that flipped upside down last year? That was a DEI pilot, and you're getting those.
Surprise.
I like to ask, do you want your surgeon, you're going in for heart surgery, do you want them to have gotten extra points because they were a woman or because of their sexual preferences or because they came from a certain race? I don't. You know what? 50 years ago, I want a black surgeon because, man, for that guy to make it through medical school, he had to be the best damn doctor in the whole planet. And he would
have made it a point of being the best damn doctor available. Just nowadays, to prove a point.
I want a white man because I know it's so hard for them to get into graduate school and medical school. They're just getting tossed out like old wet firewood. So if your doctor's young, you want them to be one thing. If they're old, you want them to be another.
Franco's just pointed something out in the chat. He says her name is pronounced Yashare. What the fuck? Seriously? I'm just going to read it how it sounds on the screen.
Yeah. Well, it's spelled Yashare, and I'm going to call it Yashare, and that's that.
I don't care. But here we go. We go with this plant, the Vitus reflux, which is a protected...
AKA Audrey 2.
Yeah. Tough titties, Seymour! Which is a protected plant. Once it's established and it's growing, you can't move it under Federation law. So there's a bit of a plot point for later.
Okay. Here's something I would like to address because we have actually, I've been on 4 shows where we've talked about this. This hasn't come up. Why would a plant that within 24 hours you can fill an entire multi-story building full of its adults, why in the name of God would it possibly need to be protected?
Yeah.
You could fill Arizona in a week with these things.
It's a MacGuffin, isn't it? It's there to fill a massive plot. It's a plot device, but not a very effective one.
It's a stupid plot device. And also they call it the empathy plant, but it learns nothing. All it does is it's a mimic. All it does is repeat back what you said. It has no idea what you're feeling.
It just mocks you. If you go, oh, I've just accidentally sneezed and pissed my pants. Oh, pissed your pants. That's all it does.
The mimic mocker. That's what you should call it.
Yeah. Well, this show's a mockery. It's a mockery of the memory of Gene Roddenberry's vision of the future.
Yeah. Not to mention, within 24 hours, it has the potential to become 13 and 20 feet long, to be able to squeeze the life out of people and throw them out of a building. Yeah.
Which is interesting. I noticed how Darren was trying to chat up this cute little Asian chick. Good on you.
The amount of humiliation they shot at that guy this episode was absolutely painful. I know he's an arrogant twat from a rich family, But man, the guy is sincere and he really does try, and there's no reason to mock him. You don't have
It was
to
all
teach
about
him.
it was all about knocking men down a peg or three,
Yeah.
not two. But this is a level of the creativity and the writing right there. Sam trying to, I don't know, lick these growth beads. I thought they were tie beads, but apparently not. They're growth beads. But that just reminds me of the first episode where you'd got that stupid-looking girl who managed to eat her own com badge.
Well, you know why she's doing this right here, don't you? What do they call them? Crayon eaters or drywall eaters?
Lickers.
She's doing that because that's who they think the audience is. And they want to relate to all of the morons that would eat paste that are watching this show, but they give absolutely no credit for any sort of intelligence to you. That's the same reason they talk in millennialese instead of mid-galactic standard.
I would expect better, but like you say, this is the level of expectation you have from the typical person who enjoys watching this crap. You know, then they don't have to think very hard. They don't have to think for themselves. It's just a, sit back and consume generation. Just catching up with the chat, not Z3PO. Hello, sir. Hopefully Trev's internet hamsters are running better. Yes, the hamsters are gone. Anyway.
They're running like George. They're running like Richard. God, I'm boomering. The good-looking guy, Richard.
What are you trying to say? Spit it out, man.
They're running like Richard Gere is chasing the lot of them. That's
Gap After Dark says, I guess they did away with the fitness regime at Starfleet Academy. Yeah, pretty much. If you notice, the level of people who seem to achieve aren't necessarily the fittest, brightest, or best of anybody. There's a lot of analogies. There's a lot of digs. There's a lot of convenient characters which are placed there in preparation for having a dig at somebody else or something, whether it be cultural or political, because this seems to be just a device, a vehicle for having a dig at modern-day America. Gap also says, you notice how big the captain's chair is? Too big for a drunk Holly Hunter. It's big enough for the male-female Jem Hadar DEI hire. Yeah. I don't think that's good. The whole Jem Hadar, a female one, how is that possible? In the grand scheme of things, you would have to genetically alter a species for it to propagate in such a manner, and that's messing with the program. That's not about creating genetic and infinite diversity in an infinite universe. That's about fucking around with things that you shouldn't fuck around with, to be fair.
Absolutely. There is
you don't mess with things. Ardent Party says the big soft bigotry of low expectations is all over the writing in this show. It truly is.
If you call it, I'm convinced they found the dumbest, oldest version of ChatGPT, and asked it to, make a show for them that was ultimately, woke and promoted the woke agenda.
Definitely. Garbage Who AI says, Dumb and Dumber licking a metal post in winter. This scene is the same level. It truly is. Ardent Party says, is this chick on screen? Part Packled? Probably. Brian's in the chat. Hello, Ken Pieter. Hello, Brian. How are you? But it's just sheer lunacy. It's just the low-hanging fruit of writing in the writer's room. I bet you any money, in the writer's room, they are just absolutely patting themselves on the back. Something crazy. Apparently, Gene Roddenberry's got a credit for writing on this episode, or is that just a generalization? I think they've just generalized on IMDb. Alex Taub and Kylie Rossiter wrote this episode, and I don't think they should be writing episodes in general because it's just absolutely terrible. And also, just quickly, Garbius says, when anyone says the writers and producers don't understand Star Trek, they absolutely do. They are making exactly what they want, the opposite of what we want. And I agree with that 100%. These are people who are pleasing themselves. I think they're given a weekly task. Kurtzman comes in and says, right, we've got to get these ideologies, these thoughts, these ideas. We need to get these things across. How can we do that in the most stupid and ridiculous way possible? And the writing team just go, right, we're on it, boss. Don't worry. Leave it with us. And that's exactly what happens. Oh, dear.
Well,
do you fancy a game of Calicut? Because that just seems like a really bad version of Capture the Flag, 32nd century style.
I've completely lost all my train of thoughts, but I do want to take umbrage with the fact that you say the people that like this show. I don't think anybody likes this show. There are people willing to take one for the team, to take the hit, maybe even watch it, but more likely just grab a bunch of talking points and go out and defend the show on social media. Because if you'll know, all of their talking points are identical. It's always the same. Every single person is saying the exact same. I doubt there is a single one of them that, like, I really like this show. I can't wait for that. I want to sit down and watch. Nobody likes this stuff, even the people that they make it for, because it's so inane and so stupid.
It's not even relevant or coherent to anything that's existed before in the Star Trek universe. In fact, everything that J.J. Abrams and Alex Kurtzman have touched, they have completely twisted around, but not in a good or positive way. They've just made an absolute mockery out of Star Trek. And I think, young Master Runbury is just taking the paycheck.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him. He might be. I've heard he's kind of a fan, which puts him right up there with Simon Tolkien. But you will notice the Starfleet stealth combat suits. You notice anything odd about the Starfleet stealth combat suit?
Well, you've got several Tron-like glowing deltas, on each shoulder and right in the middle there. Is that so they can aim at you easier? Go on, you've got to... The other side of DEI hires, you've got to give them every chance possible to shoot you.
Well, when I'm out committing crimes in the dead of night, trying not to be discovered, I like to put as many LED badges on my outfit as I possibly can, just to, improve the stealth.
This is quite interesting. Argentum, hello you. I know someone who says she likes the show in the way she likes reality TV. It's stupid. Zero thought required stuff to have on before bed, as she put it. And I agree with that. It's low intelligence. It's the absolute basic, intelligence quotient attracting material. You don't have to... If you engaged your brain and watched this, you would pull it apart. You would unravel it like a sweater with a thread hanging loose. You'd end up with a load of wool in your hands.
The badges do help create lens flares. Maybe that's the object of them, to destroy your opponent's night vision.
Don't start me about the lens flares. When I was doing the screenshots, I was like, oh my God, I haven't got a decent shot of that. And I go back and go back and go back, and it would just lens flare everywhere. Atom Gray, hello you, Wrenched, says that chick makes my balls crawl up. I don't mind the chubby hologram girl nearly as much. They're not attractive in the slightest.
Yeah, but think what that face can do to a clove of garlic. It'll mince the shit out of that. She'd be very handy in the kitchen, except she's killing your appetite.
These chicks could curdle milk at 50 yards in the dark. And I noticed yet another thing about this. If you're white and you happen to own a penis, you are fair game for ridicule.
Oh, absolutely. It's education through humiliation for the men at this school. And
yeah,
now who's that girl behind him? She's kind of cute. Why don't we get to see more of her?
I don't know. She's got a neck like fucking Rowdy Roddy Piper, though. Look at her neck.
That little Jedi Master in the prequels with the...
Look at her neck. Honestly, it's like I know exactly where I've seen that neck before. Not Roddy Piper, I take that back. I'm thinking, Randy Savage. It's got a neck like Randy Savage, brother.
I was thinking more like the fish creature in The Shape of Water. But
do you think Sam is short for Samich?
Is her name Sam? I don't even know, dude.
Yeah. Carice Brooks, who plays Sam, she's now banging on about how queer she is in real life. I reckon that's queer for clout. You know, my character's not going to be popular, so if I turn around and make out that I'm queer, as well as looking like a fucking Pokemon, then I'm going to get an easy ride. You know, it's not enough just to be black anymore. You know,
look,
you've got to be queer.
Is that the same long neck chick, or is that another long neck chick? What are
It's the same long neck chick.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but imagine the reach that she has. That's
I bet you she could swallow a kielbasa whole. But yeah, again, every time somebody gets victimized in this show, they own a penis, and they're usually Caucasian. And, you know, this was no surprise. Tig Notaro's character, Jet Reno, she sort of comes in, swaggers in, and starts with this really dry, sarcastic, I'm not being funny, but I'm being funny kind of humor. And it's just poor acting. It's just really dry, very stale. It's almost like wiping your ass with sandpaper.
It's another comedian. Look, she's another unfun. Look, they have pictures of smaller outfits on their they have a picture of smaller uniform on their uniform. Look, it makes them look like bobbleheads. But I didn't realize John Cusack was in the show.
I'll tell you something, and this may come as no surprise to our regular viewers, but I have got more tits than Tig Notaro. You know, I mean, it's like a washboard.
Well, but I'm not sure what she is, so I don't know. Is she could be one of those they them things? I don't know.
Well, she's a hyper lesbian, isn't she? In real life and in this show,
as opposed to a non-hyper lesbian. I don't care who any of these actors sleep with. I don't care who any of the characters sleep with. I want to see some Starfleet excellence, and I'm not even getting a hint of that.
Why is sexuality such a bullet point for these people? It's like everybody's got a hard-on for gender politics or, you know, gender identity or whether you're a member of the LGBTQ community, LMNOP, how many other letters they're adding on this month. It's just, your show should not be based around what these people are. It should be based around what these characters are, what they bring to the table, what benefit are they to Starfleet, how are these characters going to develop in such a way that it's a benefit to the future of the Federation.
Because sexuality is the easiest way to gain victim clout, and being a victim is the currency of our current modernity. And so we will find other ways to oppress them and to show how oppressed they are. But starting off the bat with sexuality is a good way to start that. Get a little bit of victim clout for you. It is the currency of the day.
Ardent Party says, lol, just subscribed as you were talking about tits, already reconsidering. I might have to backpedal here tastefully because UK Video Clip says, to be honest, her tits were removed after a breast cancer, mate. So I was not aware of that fact. I could do with getting rid of some of mine.
Well, see, I wouldn't wish that.
No,
unlike them, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, even her. I think she ruins everything she's in. She's not funny. She's not a good actor. Her little snark, smug, self-centered sense of humor is not enjoyable forever. But I don't want anything to happen to the woman in real life. No,
I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. As somebody who's going through cancer with somebody in my household at present, you know, I never have found cancer a funny topic anyway. And, you know, when you've got somebody you care for who's dealing with it in quite an aggressive manner, you know, it's not something you particularly joke about. Anyway, monster meltdowns from holograms. I don't understand why Sam was going off how she did, why she was having such a theatrical meltdown, when the fact is that she is a hologram, a light hologram at that, and any kind of phaser blast, because in Calica, the phasers are actually transporters, and you kind of get benched. Once you're shot, it's like fancy laser tag, and that was the main deal about this. It kept going, oh, is it laser tag? Is it laser tag? Yeah, it's kind of laser tag. All right, then you can call it laser tag. but it's not. You get hit by one of these phasers, and you're automatically beamed straight onto the benches. But yet again, you've got this guy. He's a total flop. He's a total nebbish.
Yeah,
But,
that's got to be safe too, right? We've never seen transporter accidents in Star Trek. Yeah, totally safe to transport somebody possibly dozens of times during a match that should be in the holodeck in the first place.
And look at that. Dennis, he got shot, but his hair was a big giveaway. But yet again, why have Tron glow-up deltas on your uniform? Not one, but three.
What's with the lightsabers back there?
Oh, I think they were just there for pomp and circumstance, just to make it look good. But then you've got this whole thing between Genesis and Derham where there's this competition. You know, you've got the overachiever who wants to go out of his way to impress his parents, his parents don't give a shit about him unless he's achieving. And then you've got Genesis, whose dad's an admiral, so she's got that expectation to live up to. But Genesis can't fail because she's a girl. It's okay for the white guy to fail because she's got a penis.
She even says failure is not an option. Well,
nope.
You know what? I've got bad news for you. It's always an option. In fact,
life's all about failure.
Yeah, it's usually the thing that happens the vast majority of the time because of how probability and entropy and life works in general.
That's the nature of the universe. You have to have entropy. Nala Ake's whole point is about, sowing the seeds for growth and development. And that was my take from this. And you've got all these young minds here. And, there's not much growth and there's not much development. All you have is a lot of bratty young kids with a lot of issues. And they all want to overachieve. Some are there purely by circumstance, like Caleb. He's there because he's the charity case. You've got to feel sorry for Caleb because he comes from a rough background. His parents got iced, no pun intended. Daddy went out for space smokes at the space gas station, and he's not been seen since. Mummy had to bring Caleb up, and, she got herself in with the wrong crowd to feed her son because the Federation is like living under a communist regime. The whole idea here is to get to the other side of the course and ring the bell. Whoever rings the bell the most will end up the team captain for the Starfleet Academy Calica team. There was overuse of, just quickly, there was too much overuse of special effects to make up for the lack of script, I felt.
If you picked up a rock and threw it and rang the bell, does that score a point?
No. But did you notice where they got this idea from? Do you remember the beam out drones in Star Trek Insurrection, sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I got from this. They took from a lot of films, to be fair. You've got the whole aspect of Ocean's 11. You've got the idea of the girl chucking the basketball over her shoulder and scoring a hoop from a fair distance away. That was from Alien Resurrection. You've got this from Star Trek Insurrection. There's all lots of elements, the whole line about good artists borrows, but great artists steal. These are not great artists. And they're getting away with this week in, week out. And yet, let's have loads of special effects to make up for the sheer lack of credible storytelling within this. You have a bare minimum plot line, and you just get Holly Hunter just keep thrashing out the same crap over and over and over. She's just regurgitating all this bullshit until it sticks. But then again, you can chuck shit at the wall all day long. Whether it sticks or not is entirely independent on the shit you're chucking. But yet again, Derham is the man. And he's looking like he's going to end up being the team captain, but Genesis is trying her best. But she's the bestest girl ever. And she manages to ring a bell a few times. But Derham's the man. He's on the leaderboard. He's joint first with Genesis. But ultimately, go on, you were going to say?
Yeah, let me ask you something. So the assignment here is to create a fast-paced combat simulation sport that they might play in the future. And essentially, this is laser tag with extra steps. It's the best they could come up with. First of all, if you're competing against another team, why the heck have drones those drones would never miss. Even a quadcopter from DJI today would not miss a single one of those people with a laser. Like, they must be programmed to be randomly snarky, but why introduce that in a sport? They're supposed to be competing against another team, not a bunch of freaking drones. And if you take out the drone, apparently you get disqualified.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Somebody shows a bit of an initiative, but they get slapped down because they own a penis. Franco says all of a sudden it's stolen ideas. No, all of it is stolen ideas. Adam Gray says dinner bell.
So that's what a Jim Hadar vibrator looks like. Okay,
I thought that space dildo.
Yeah.
Drumvert says we're going to reboot Starfleet Academy, and to do it, we're going to bring the worst and the least capable. Everybody's the same given an opportunity. They believe.
Absolutely.
And it's true. That's pretty much all it is. Stolen and they make it worse. It's true. You know, that all these ideas are just terrible. Ardent Party says Star Trek commonly reuses elements. True. But how much of a budgetary savings is that with CGI? And remember, 6 to 10 million per episode. Somebody is getting rich left, right, and center off this production. But space dildos it is.
I'm certainly, allegedly, there are all kind of kickbacks going on. Costume department over bills, and then hires Kurtzman's wife to, do something very expensive, that sort of thing. They keep the money all inside the company and then overcharge, overbill everybody pot. Because you're not seeing 10 million on screen here. You're not even seeing 1 million on screen.
Nowhere near. It kind of reminds me of something I saw in Spaceballs. It's all very Drewish, if you know what I mean. Genesis just looks consistently smug all the time.
Well, she is consistently smug.
Because Caleb was late. He gets to be made a bit of a bullet point for humiliation because Space Laser 1 shoots him with the transporter thing, the transporter dildo, and he ends up on his arse, basically. Oh, look at that.
Let me ask you something. If the transporter happened to malfunction and he rematerialized inside out, do you think she would be held up for disciplinary action?
No, because, she's a genetically diverse character who happens to munch rug. But look at her. Just the sheer smugness on this chick. Just look at her. I hate men. All penises must be destroyed. I get that vibe from her. Like she's just, look at her. Man, look at that. Man hater. That should have been her name. Man hater. Which is quite interesting. But I like this. Caleb actually showed a bit of initiative here. And he takes out this drone by grabbing it. And he takes it out of the game. So it can't shoot him and transport him out onto the benches. And he gets disqualified. But, oh no, Genesis, she's a super girl. And she's got to win. But Sam's going to, run and get the sandwiches. Because that's all she's good for, basically. And yet these two just dry-wittily assassinate every member of the team, but the men seem to get it most. But look at that. Genesis is laughing at Derham there. Oh, he's trying his best. He wants to win this because he's out to impress his parents. He's got mummy and daddy issues.
Can you go back a slide?
Yeah, sure. That one.
I didn't realize a young Tom Cruise was in this TV show.
She does look a bit Tom Cruisey from profile.
It's like Days of Thunder. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Listen, it hurts my eyes to look at either of them. I don't even know why.
They are visually offensive, to be fair. And yet all they are, they just seem to be like a left-wing humor is severely unfunny. I've had funnier gas bills. But all they do, they just slag everybody off. They're just bitter old lesbians. And that's all you're getting here. But it's perfectly acceptable because, oh, look, there's Whitey with his space dildo. Oh, and he got beamed out because, you junk. Serves you right for having a cock.
They're not even space witches, man. What do they think?
No. But it is. It's all ideology and, you know, the whole DEI thing. But, you know, I like this. This was a poor attempt. And Kareem Diane, I think he did really well with the material he was given, because Jaden Craig has to be a bit of a comedic foil and a bit of a diversion. So Jaden can go and chat up to Tarima. I want to keep calling her I can't even say it. Tarima.
I just call her Mini Rachel Wise.
Yeah, to ream her, because Caleb, wants to ream her all night long. So he's like, oh yeah, keep these guys. Oh look, they're the dickwads from the war college. You need to hold them up. I'm here to tell you some jokes. But look, there's Kyle. Kyle's like, hi, I'm Kyle. It means Kyle. My name is Jaden. It means something really important, which I'm going to make up and just insert here. But Zolo here, just look at, she kind of reminded me there of how, the kid from Indiana Jones looks. You call him Dr. Jones. You know that look he gave Kate Capshaw in Temple of Doom. But
I like the way she's getting in the face of somebody 3 feet taller than her that could throw her through a wall without even trying.
I'm going to tell you a joke.
What's his name again?
Jaden.
Oh, yeah. That means much more gay than you would think by my appearance.
It means racial stereotype.
Have you seen the guy? Did you see the actor on the red carpet?
Who plays him?
He was hemorrhaging rainbows every time he sauntered sassily across the stage. But he looks like he's got some chimney soot on his face here. What's going on with that weird beard? I don't know.
Yeah, he'd been molesting a Dyson Hoover, and I think he's got a bit of bum fluff all over his cheeks. So is he munching the sausage then, this guy, in real life?
You know, I'm surprised that they aren't bragging about it. So I don't know, but I figure.
I think Kyle
he just acts very effeminate, but if he was, they would obviously tell us, because it would just be another selling point for the show for Grace Randolph to tell us how good it is, how much diversity. Look, they have a gay Klingon, and the actor's gay.
I think Kyle's a bit gay for Klingon battlers.
The actor has to be gay if he's playing the gay Klingon, though. And so, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, for the duration of this live stream, I'm going to come out. I'm gay. You can't pick on me for criticizing this show, because I am now gay. I love the cock severely. In fact, my name now is Trev Loves Cock. But I was quite interested here. Like you said, Zolo doesn't give a two hoots about how tall Klingon boy is, because she wants to whoop his ass. I'm going to call him
Gayden.
Gayden. It's like a spoof character from Mortal Kombat. Fight, Gayden. Doom, 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 doom. Yeah. But RV, this is a rum name for a Vulcan. But I noticed Vulcans are dicks in this show. But we go back onto the simmering love story between Dollar Store Rachel Weisz and Caleb Meir.
Hey, come on, you got to give her at least a $5. She's the cutest thing in the show.
Yeah, she's way too young for me, to be fair. If she was 40, she might be in with a chance.
She's also far too scrawny. Look at that.
She'd want danger money to lay under me.
What would you think? I just imagine with the inevitable Ozempic how thin she's going to look next season.
Ripley ate anybody?
Huh.
That's all I thought. As soon as I saw that, we've seen this before. He might as well be Ron Perlman in this scene.
Yeah, I didn't realize basketball was such a popular sport on a planet 150 light years away that hasn't had contact with humanity in the same amount of time. Just to say.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, if you build a wall, you can do anything. But remember, if you're here, you're a DEI hire, and you're the worst of the best. Or the best of the worst. I'm not quite sure yet. But how does Hollow Girl? She doesn't look very hollow. I think she's got hollow legs, especially at the craft services. But here we go. White kid. He's a bit of a dweeb. What role does he get? Team mascot. team mascots are very important in Calica because they're the flag keepers, aren't they? You have to shoot around these guys when you get to the other end of the field.
Creative bankruptcy. Like they can't even have, modern space looking mascot costumes.
Nope.
That's the same suit they used to put on during the Rose Bowl in the 1950s.
Yeah. And yet you get to do more of this insipid training. But
Could
this time
he
with
be
the
any taller than that tiny woman. Jeez.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to believe she is his physical equal. That's absurd.
Yeah, again, I think a bit of plagiarism from Starship Troopers again, because that looks like an arachnid to me. If any day of the week. Does anybody in the chat disagree with that?
It looks like what my stomach was doing when I was watching the show. But yeah, it's definitely a bug. Would you like to know more?
Were you queefing slightly at the ridiculousness of the show?
And look at that little spit of flame. Looks exactly like a devil's tail. Look at that. Beautiful. That's
this
where
show,
the 10 million went.
I've never seen anything better. These writers deserve everything they get. I wonder if they're on $100 a word. Oh, look, lens flare, lens flare, lens flare, lens flare. Would you like some lens flare with your lens flare? It's the school of JJ.
They keep tying, but they're walking around corners, so the outside person would have a view of the target before the inside. It doesn't make any sense.
But they're the bestest ever. But it turns out that Darren's been named as the team captain, and he gets pumped and circumstanced around in a captain's chair.
Right, which is very undignified. They just had to do that to make it when they knock him down, he has farther to fall. I
could just imagine the conversation. What is Whitey doing? He's getting carried around in a chair. That's how racism works. Yeah. But Genesis isn't brooding, and she isn't Mardy at all. She's not sulking for all it's worth because she wasn't named as team captain.
Wait, can you back 2 slides, 3 now with the chair? Okay,
there you go.
Yeah. I just noticed that it's a lot of marginalized folk that are doing the carrying in the chair. How racially insensitive is that?
Oh, it was 50-50. You've got 2 people of tannage at the front and 2 of whiteage at the back.
But to even have one is just very racially insensitive, insulting.
The implication is there already, isn't it?
Yep.
What terrible people. But anyway, they get interrupted. Celebrations are interrupted because the other team have made a spoof advert. Now, there's a bit of something going off here because to get access to that material, you need high up clearance within the Academy and War College.
Well, or they could have a magic hacker like Caleb who gets clearance to whatever he wants.
Yeah. Well, there's Choda Boy, a.k.a. team mascot, being made to look a complete wimp. And then you've got Sam, who's licked a rock. Now she's trying to eat it.
Listen, that dude is nothing like his character was in the first episode. There's no explanation for him going from fairly cool, competent, and collected to being just a major doofus.
He's gone from Chad to sad, hasn't he, in 2 episodes?
Oh, yeah.
But this is interesting.
But
yeah. Sam here, if she's a hologram and she's not easily offended, but she's quite offended at being targeted out here. Maybe it's because she was trying to devour the rock. But look at Genesis. She's the bestest ever. Why am I team captain?
Dun, 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 dun. Sad music. Sad girls hurt feelings. We want you to know that her feelings are hurt. So we're going to tell you her feelings are hurt because it might not be obvious to you. And she'll mention later the kind of feelings hurt that he hurt her feelings with. And she went and hurt feelings her.
Yeah. Gentum, our Gentum says in the chat, you're the wrong kind of gay, Trev. Doesn't matter. Well,
yeah, that's true. You're kind of the Michael Shanks kind of gay. I do have to say, I've seen the proof.
Why do people keep calling me Fat Michael Shanks?
I just called you Michael Shanks. I didn't say fat. I just said gay Michael Shanks.
I just thought I'd add that. I mean, I do bear a bit of resemblance to Michael Shanks. And, it must be the Canadian thing. I mean, he's from British Columbia, and I sort of hail, although I wasn't born in Canada, I do hail from Alberta.
Listen, you'd be lucky. Michael, he started out a nerdy dweeb and he married Lexa Doig. Like, we should all be Michael Shanks, man.
Well, yeah. He's just one lucky mofo. Christopher Snyder, 1532, says, just give the series time. I heard they're adding a Tribble as an instructor. What could go wrong? Maybe swallowing people. Well, Franco rightly snaps back and says, why doesn't that sound like a joke? That's something they'd actually do.
You know who's not giving the series time? The audience.
Well, we haven't got time to give, I'm afraid.
No, nobody's watching this show.
Evil Face Bad says, I love Trek since I was a kid, but this show hurts. I can't watch this trash and not yell at the screen in pure anger. We're all the same. But then again, you know, we're the bad people. Hello, Tog, the oldest gamer in the chat. Oh, this is just, it's embarrassing to watch. I had to watch this twice because you know how they say skibbity and brain rot? That's what I felt I was getting by watching this. But anyway, the War College are having a dig at the super DEI crew that are Team Starfleet Academy. And it's just basically a big dig at them. But how did they get footage? Well, the War College kids are having a good laugh about this. But they don't like it. Look at that. Oh, nobody's allowed to have a melt. Nobody's allowed to have a laugh at somebody else's expense because that's bad. That's wrong. Let me ask you a question, Esther. In your lifetime, you've never been hazed once, have you?
I wouldn't quite say that.
Well, you haven't had somebody not make fun of you at one point or another in your life. It is physically impossible to go through life without experiencing some kind of peer pressure and bullying. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like these kids don't live in a real world because they're not allowed to be victimized. They're not allowed to be the laugh at somebody else's expense or vice versa. I would kill you if I wasn't gay.
I think I misunderstood your question. Yeah, I mean, I've been pranked, I've been bullied, I've been hazed. And,
yeah, but it's a part of life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely, these kids are like they're in an insular bubble, you know, because being made fun of is not tolerated. You know, you can't not experience that facet of life. Thing is, though, you know, I've been bullied all the way through my life, and I bully people too. It's just the way of life, you know. It's one of those things. It depends on how you deal with it as a person. Do you let it bother you? Do you let it drag you down and you mull over it and wallow in your own self-pity for the rest of your days? Or do you just think, oh, fuck it, just, so what? Move on. Next.
Well, it's like the kids who grew up in a clean room with antibiotic everything. They never had a chance to develop any resistance to germs or develop antibodies. These kids have had such a soft, cushy life. They've never heard the word no. They've never had a challenge. They've never been called out on anything. So they don't know how to react when they get in the real world. And it happens.
No, they don't. And they completely go to pieces when they're in that situation. Now, this is important for future reference because the Chancellor of the War College has got a RET scan on his door. That becomes something worthy of note a little bit later on. But yeah, again, Nala Ake is just condescending all the way through this. She goes into this guy's personal quarters, Chancellor Kelrek, right? Because he's got a tea fetish. And the thing is, the hypocrisy. It's all right for a white female to make fun of a man, but if the roles were reversed, it would not be accepted. And both her and, Lyra Thok both make fun of this guy because he's got a tea fetish. But the thing is,
know all of these names, man? You're just blowing my mind. I'm
sorry.
Listen, it's not just that. Okay, she's got a gramophone fetish. She's got a pajama fetish. She's got a fetish for bare feet. She has all these silly habits that nobody's allowed to make fun of. But I mean, you're a Brit. You guys take your tea pretty seriously, but they make him sound like a fool. He just doesn't have a tea thing going on. They make it super uncomfortably cringy, stupid. Nobody who, I don't care how much you love tea, you don't do the stupid shit he does. It's absolutely, the way they wrote his character is just completely humiliating.
Well, he's just painted out to be a complete twat because he owns a penis. Gamer says, does watching it twice make it better? No, absolutely not. Ardent Party says, but the more you watch it, the more brain damage you suffer from and the less you mind. I think that is pretty much par for the course. UK Video Clip says, no hurty feelings allowed at the Academy. I kind of guess so, you know? Garbage Who AI says, make the show performance-related pay. I bet they don't turn it around then. Probably not. But what made me really angry about this scene, right? Nala does not respect anybody else's boundaries except her own. She walks into this guy's private quarters and starts messing with all his stuff. And then she slobs out on his sofa in bare feet. I would lose my mind if that was... Somebody came into my private quarters and just started slobbing around on my personal items and private space, barefooted. Yeah. I'm sorry, I would shove a red hot kettle up a fanny sideways.
Get your Brie Larsons off my fucking couch.
Yeah, seriously. She's like camel-toed feet. Literally, she's got camel toes. But all she does is condescend this guy, but she raises a point. How did, those kids get that footage to make that spoof video? But look at that. That just drove me absolutely nuts. She's wearing spangly spat things around her ankles and big toe. But she's barefooted. Some skanky old bitch slobbing around on my sofa in bare feet. I'm sorry, I'd kick her ass out the door, whether she's a captain or another chancellor. How can you have two chancellors in one institution? It's bizarre.
Look at that face. That is just hideous. Oh my God.
Liberal white female anger mode. Karens unite. Karen mode. But she flips out and she does one. She spouts some crap at him and he's like, what the fuck just happened? And we were all thinking it. We didn't know what quite happened either. But these characters are just so boring and insipid. They're all vanilla. These people live in a world, right, like the writers and stuff of this adventure, right, all sort of go out the way to say, oh, we don't want things that are vanilla. Vanilla's boring. We don't want that. And yet they churn out the most vanilla crap. Week in, week out, series by series. They come up with something else and it's still the same formula. It's still the same format. Everything tastes the same. It's boring. It's beyond crap. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, these aren't characters. These are cardboard cutout archetypes. They're even actually an insult to stereotypes.
Yeah.
But
vanilla would be spicy to these people. Come on. Yeah, I agree.
There are two legitimate character moments, though, in this episode, and I want to be fair, and I'd like to call them out. The first one was kind of funny when the Chancellor, when Holly Hunter mocks him for, you guys have some pretty serious security around here. Yeah. And he goes, well, we tried silly security, and nobody felt safe. I actually chuckled at that.
I noticed.
Yeah,
that.
like how would you have security that isn't serious, you retard? Except it's very stupid. Sorry, Brian. It's very stupid security. It's in an age of replicators, biometrics are ridiculously dumb and stupid.
And then you've got to
find a new way to get around stuff.
And then you've got girls who look at boys and go, "You're crap because you've got a dick." But let's take over the atrium. And I thought, hang on a minute, Disney's going to sue somebody here because this is proper Tron Legacy rip-off stuff here. That's all I got. They're just ripping off the whole Tron aesthetic.
Look, there's a balcony. You're telling me the first thing you won't do is run some people up on that balcony and snipe the crap out of everybody?
Well, that might come into play a little bit later on. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but it should come into play immediately. That's my point.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It doesn't happen until the woman's in charge.
It's funny that, isn't it? So anyway, War College.
Wait, go back.
Yeah, there you go.
Does everybody have an oddly long neck in the show? What am I missing here? Look at that. It's...
The ET generation, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're putting something in that tea. But these mascots are just the stupidest cringe going. Even Caleb's like, what the hell? But anyway, Derham's like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and we're going to win because I'm the bestest ever. But this is all a setup to make Genesis look good. Because
what do you think the writers were thinking when they decided to put mascots in this already stupid game of laser tag? What could they have possibly... Who thought, you know what's a good idea is we'll have a guy... Like, I think they just needed to memberberry drop a Mugatu, and it's the only thing they could think of.
Do you know what it was? Kurtzman was there and saying, how can we be more Joss Whedon? That's all it was.
Yeah, I can see Joss Whedon using a mascot, but he would do it tastefully and funny and restrained. Most importantly,
well, he wrote the best teen drama of the 90s via Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But again, just the whole Tron thing here, it went a little bit too far. Yeah, you know, you've got to rip somebody else's IP off to bolster your own because there's no real substance behind it.
Yeah, and it's demonstrated by 100 people tried to copy Joss Whedon, and they've all failed because they don't have the taste and sensibility that he had.
Oh, guess who's in the chat?
It's a Mugatu.
Smilex is in the chat. And I just want to point out that Smilex was very glistening last night on B-Sides. I was well impressed. And I've got to say hello to Mandy in Mansfield, who's watching the show for the first time. But these mascots are just cringe. The whole setup is cringe, you know? It's just an illegal matchup, right? So what credence does this have in the grand scheme of things when it's not even a fully registered game of Calica? You've got these kids
got
going
called
rogue.
Out.
Yeah.
They challenged. There's it was sort of like me, you outside now kind of deal.
Yeah, but anyway, Superstar DJ, he's the first one shot with a space dildo transporter phaser thingy, and but I don't know, it just felt full of cringe. You knew what was coming. The setups were all obvious. It was just to teach this, you know, he's got a penis and he's possibly white. He needs to be taught a lesson. But it was nice that Genesis was the second one out. But it all turns out that, you know, the Starfleet Academy guys, they're all a bit crap. Yeah, when they're up against somebody who has a bit of substance and who got into a war college based on merits as opposed to being DEIs.
Well, didn't they just all start the academy? They've had no skills and no training, but where are the upperclassmen? I get the impression the war college people have been there forever. Is this the very first year of Starfleet Academy? They had no junior, sophomore, senior transfers. Everybody in the class, everybody in the school is a freshman.
Yeah, they're all freshmen. Yeah, but the war college has been established, so it seems.
And yet they have an alumni association. How can you do that when you haven't had school in 150 years?
I don't know. Maybe it's all in, you know, you've got to have an alumni there ready, willing, and able because all these kids are the bestest ever. But I like this. She thinks he's going to let her go. You know, she's going to shoot him before he shoots her. But he's like, nope, guess again, bitch.
Oh, wait. The telepath doesn't know that she's about to get shot by a guy standing right in front of her.
I noticed that looks very Watchmen. You know, Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, but it went by pretty quick. I'm still more wondering, why are telepaths even allowed to compete in the sport?
She's wearing a neural inhibitor.
Tactics and plan. Yeah, but it doesn't take it all away. It just lowers her down to the rest of Beta Z, doesn't it?
I'm guessing adrenaline would, you know, give false positives in that situation.
Well, she was wearing the inhibitor when the guy was climbing the oddly ladder-like fence. And she seemed to know everything he was feeling then. I got the impression that it just sort of takes the edge off. It doesn't completely eliminate her telepathy.
Well, it'll turn out eventually in the grand scheme of things that she's the bestest telepath ever. But it's 2-0. War College 2, Starfleet Academy 0, Forfar 5, East 5-4. If you used to do the pools, you'll get that. But even Samich has a go. Thing is, if she is porous, how is she holding a phaser?
Permeable. Get your P's straight.
well, I am gay now, so how am I not porous? Anyway, Genesis gets this really good idea about shooting the replicators. You can't do that. I want a sandwich.
How much school property did she destroy outside of the field of play? Why don't you just replicate a smoke bomb, you stupid?
Yeah, why didn't she just do that? It would have been a lot simpler. And in fact, didn't they all have in the Star Trek universe, systems in place that detected smoke, detected fire, and you had gases ready, willing, and able to put out any kind of fires,
but
whether they be plasma or otherwise.
Why is that phaser starting a fire when all it does is transport you to the penalty box?
Plot device. Oh, Brian says, strangely enough, East 5 beat Forfar 5-4 on penalties a couple of years ago, believe it or not. And that was quite a mouthful to say, and I did quite well there.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. It's a glistening report. We used to do the thing called the pools on a Saturday. When the football results used to come in, you used to have a go at predicting the results. And if you got it, you'd win cash. Thank you, Brian. So anyway, creates a smoke screen. You can't shoot what you can't see, man, because I'm a girl. But yeah, again, there would have been systems in place to remove that out of the atrium straight away. But no, War College just go firing away. But laser beams, which are transporters, but lasers, but depends on the plot and the device required.
How are they shooting what they can't see either?
Well, I think it's a bit of a standout thing due to the size of the object and the amount of color and darkness it provides. But the lasers are going straight through it, and it turns out it's Samich because she can change her density, Lorraine.
And she can change her appearance, which again, for a combat exercise,
she better looking?
I understand. But for a sport, this is incredibly stupid.
Yeah. Oh, Smilex with a glistening comment. This looks like gay X-Men. Well, as a newly minted gay person, I like that. I like that fact.
It's the gay X they thems.
Lisa Roberts says it's a gay danger room, quite possibly. And I like that. And Ardent Party says, stranger danger room. Lovely, 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 lovely. It's glittering. Is it glistening or glittering? What would you prefer, Smilex? Would you prefer glittering or glistening? Anyway, I'm getting off topic.
Neck is looking pretty long in that avatar, too. Now I'm really wondering what the fuck's going on. Okay.
You should have seen it last night. A three-eyed monster. It was quite interesting, to be fair. But that just looks bizarre. That just looks like a scene out of Alien Romulus. That was.
I'm gonna go with Legend, the Tom Cruise Ridley Scott movie.
Yeah, very bizarre. Anyway, they've turned the tables on the War College. Oh, look, we're the bestest ever. There's Longy McNeck on the left-hand side. I didn't see much of her during this match, but she certainly came to the fore. Old Derham gets a look there from Baavi. Or is it Bavi? I'm not sure how to pronounce some of these names.
They turned the tables on him, and it only cost like $100,000 in property damage to the school.
Yeah.
Good job.
But you don't have to pay for it because, you have to break things to prove democracy is real. Anyway, Derham's like, oh, I'm gutted. I'm not... I'm a bit crap, really. I'm not as overachieving as I thought I were. Genesis just, hello, I'm a smug bitch. Smug bitch much? Yes, you are smug bitch much. But then they get called out by the space lesbians from beyond the stars. A Quim Martin production, not a Quinn Martin production. There we go.
I want to point out, this was earlier in the episode, but when they start, he's up. He's like, I got to work hard to be the best. He's doing all kind of crazy push-ups, one-handed push-ups, switching feet, tippy-toe push-ups. Like, it's some amazing stuff that's going on. And what does she do? She swings her arms from side to side. Like,
You've made me think of a theme tune there. I've got to be the very best, dun, 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 like no one ever was, dun, 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 dun. That's because I'm a white man, and I've got a cock. You're a man, gotta crush 'em all. Especially in this show. Mao says they've changed more uniforms in 3 episodes than the first 4 franchises combined. Smilex, with a glittering and glistening report, says, this show clearly wants to be Harry Potter so badly. Skyfire says, Hogwarts. Brumts. That's the line of the show right there. Franco says, Quim/Queef Martin production. There we go. Oh, Atom Gray. You have to lower the tone, sir. Do they use transporters to evacuate their bowels now? Well, the writing team certainly evacuated their bowels right across this entire series. And they've got a 2nd season already. Smilex says, I'd give junior Rachel Weisz some extra lessons. Yes, Poundland Rachel Weisz. She doesn't come with Daniel Craig. She comes with me. Every
lessons
night.
In what? Otter grooming? Otter
lessons
pocketing,
in love.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Speaking of lessons in love, here we go.
From the space lesbians.
Hey, what happened to their little tiny uniforms on their bigger uniforms? Where do those go?
I don't know. Probably the same place Optimus Prime's trailer goes when he transforms.
Let's humiliate some white men here.
Oh, yeah. You've got to do that. They're not accordions on her pajamas. Now she's in pajamas and she's barefooted. She looks like some old lady who's had a bit of a crisis. My uterus inverted. I prolapsed in the dining room and I splattered all over the floor. Apparently the warp core's not accordions. I said it wrong.
They're not accordions. They're warp cores all over my peaches. She's the bestest ever.
And even Caleb's like, what the fuck is wrong with this chick? So anyway, it's all about putting seeds into young minds. And she tells them about empathy and growth, you know? And then we've got our talkie Vitus reflux plants.
Oh, be quiet.
Do they sound like the Mii's off the a Wii console? But yeah, we've got another token white man, and he appears sporadically, but you don't actually see him doing anything. You know, he's just a bit of a foil. And then you've got
very masculine hair.
Oh yeah. He doesn't look like the guy from Kiss Ass at all, does he? But there we go. We've got Lieutenant Long Neck. I'm not quite sure who she is. Little Shop of Horror Plants, says Mau. Yes, we've already made the Audrey 2 reference. Tough titties, Seymour. And he's like, oh, I've got an idea. Oh, we can do something with these plants because they're protected. And then overachieving son goes to Space Leisure number 1. Or Space Leisure number 2, not quite sure. And he promptly gets a dressing down. I've got some bad news for you, kid. You're a man. You've got a penis. I hate you. And have you looked in the mirror lately? You haven't got much of a tan, have you? And then it's like, what do you want for tea tonight, dear? I hope it's chips. It's chips. It's all right. It's a TV advert from back in the 80s. She wants chips. At one point, I thought she said she wanted Coco Man. But I don't think the Space Lesers quite enjoy that, do they? Oh, it's just so tiresome. She even rolls her eyes at Leisure number 1. But meanwhile, Turbo Lift Revelations, Genesis is the bestest ever, and Durham has to sort of concede. And then we do the whole Ocean's 11. We've got something in play, and then we've got flashbacks because Caleb's dressed as the Mugatu, but he's there with Dollar Store Rachel Weisz. Atom Gray, fatigue Nataro. I'm fatigued already.
Yeah, again, more than $1. Credit where credit is due.
You would buy that for $1. Cartman style, listen to my authority.
Listen to my authority. I was Stretch Girl in The Incredibles.
Well, that's what those plants sound like. Remember what the memberberry sounded like on South Park? That's exactly maybe solo. Maybe.
UK video clips. You are now officially the Findus of the show.
Oh, dude, now I'm totally hungry for some crispy ass pancakes. Dude, you're killing me.
Nice. Maybe they would like vagina crisps. Maybe. Oh, Brian's got one for you. Brumts. He's here all week. Rachel Weiss. Nice.
Let's be real. Vagina Crisp sounds like a Bond girl name.
Hey, brumts. Gavin Blackburn 1 says, still would. Yeah, of course you would. You do it. You do it if she was walking to the bus stop with a quick save bag in one hand and a netto bag in the other.
Oh, anybody who says no is lying. Come on.
Yeah, they obviously. I wouldn't because I'm gay. I love the cock.
I wouldn't because the show disgusts me so much and I couldn't see her without thinking about the show. But under any other circumstances, absolutely. I also like how the War College encourages the overuse of mascara.
Definitely. You've got to draw it on like it's going out of fashion. But I took this screenshot especially for you, Esther. I thought you'd appreciate this.
I do like her little pouty lips, I have to say.
I think she's got a bit of dry skin. Would you like to rub some of your man wax on her just to give her some zinc lubrication?
Yeah.
Old Caleb there in the Mugatu suit. I thought he'd got a boner sticking out, but it's at the top of a chair. It just looks in the right position, doesn't it?
Look at me, I've got a tan, so obviously I've got a big old man.
I have to give her credit for recognizing him but here's my point. You skip that entire scene where Hollow Porky zips in and out, transporting, squeezing, space plant growth serum and everybody.
No.
Why did he have to run in? Why did he have to go in the suit anyway? Why didn't she just...
We're doing the whole stupid, disjointed Ocean's 11. Rick Sanchez, you son of a bitch.
I see.
So they're in the turbo lift talking about their plan, where he comes up with the whole Mugatu thing, and then he's walking the halls, and he's like, "Look at me, I'm the bestest ever," and that's where she gets wind. It's him.
Okay, yeah.
So she follows him round. There's the Chancellor's private room. Which is ret scanned.
Why didn't Princess Cupcake just zap in there and make a holographic iris and boom, no security, then boom, 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 boom.
You would have thought
get out of there. Yeah.
In a decently written show, they would have come up with something like that. But no.
Hey, look at you. Hey, some clever shit. Respect my authority, because I gave you the idea.
They had to make a scene where the male character, even the diverse male character, was outmaneuvered by the woman, and she got one on him.
And I like this scene here because this is gay, and this really appeals to me. Now I'm newly gayed. I have the gay condition. If you just joined us, I am now officially gay for the rest of the show.
Yeah, this is a little bit of telling on yourself. He's like, would you dare deny me my cultural moment of heritage tradition? Like, it almost seems like it's a little bit too self-aware to be.
It's almost like they parodied their own narrative here.
Well,
with the whole cultural appropriation. But he's wearing a Viridian patch, which is going to take a genetic sample from this guy, where Jaden creates a cloned eye.
Like, how long does scan? In what, 2 minutes? Like, how do they get the cells to replicate that quick? And since he's doing this, a student with no, real advanced training, don't ever tell me that anyone in the show needs a kidney or needs a heart or a lung or is missing a piece. Like, if they can do that, but I don't know why they just, they could reclone a part and just beam it right into your body, replacing the old back.
Doesn't Jaden look like some kind of shit fucked up Sesame Street puppet? Or is it just me? But I'll tell you something, the piercings are really appealing to my gay side. In fact,
I like the chimney sweep beard.
I'm glistening, Smilex. Jaden has made me glisten. So anyway, they've cloned an eye. Mugatu boy is going to ret scan it. And here we go with the bit where old Chubbs Lunks beams in with some fertilized ovums to spray underneath doors. So yeah, again, it's all about planting seeds.
Cadet
That's
chunky buns.
That's how communism and Marxism works, by planting seeds in young minds, which flourish later and give them the pink-haired condition. I must have come across a liberal teacher at some point or another. Now my bum is a receptacle for sausage. There we go. It was all over everything was so mega disjointed all the way through this whole Ocean's 11 bastardization. But we have this heartwarming moment, which is about as heartwarming as January in Hoth. Then she raises the alarm on Loverboy. Mr. Lover. He seems to be really good at running. I wonder if that's anything to do with his skin tone or, good at running. But the next day, bright and early, at Starfleet Academy's War College, as soon as these things get any light on them, they flourish into full maturity from little thoughts of seedlings. But Kyle's like, I like them flowers. They look ever so nice there. I wonder if Jaden would like to go out on a bit of a date later. Maybe go to a Sizzler or a Wendy's, Or maybe we can go for a foot long at Subways or Subgays. Maybe get discount for liking the cock. You never know. But this just felt like a bit of a play on several other films and TV shows I've seen where they've used plants as a comedic foil to get revenge on somebody. It just felt a bit really hard work and played out. And it's almost like it tried too hard that it was just at the point of being severely unfunny. Hello, computer.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Brian, Stream Killer. Me? Or maybe just the slides in general? What's this? Skyfire says, to be fair, Trev, any seed planted in their cavernous heads is not going to find fertile soil. True. That was it. That's what I was trying to think of. Mau Mau's got it. Men in Black. Smilex says, they're almost tentacles, so I'm semi-aroused. Are you wetter than an otter's pocket? Are you moister than a mermaid's purse? But yeah, it all just very played out, very formulaic. Let's all fake laugh. Just look at the choppers on that chick. Crikey, she could swallow a child whole. Oh, but it's not funny when the other people do it. Kyle's there, and Baavi with Zolo. They're all a bit incensed because they've had a bit of a turn of events. Well, there's the Chancellor of the War College in the background there, and he says all this pranking's got to stop. But no, Holly Hunter comes in as Nala Ake. She's the bestest ever with Lyra Thok, the female half-Klingon Jem'Hadar hybrid who also likes to munch rugs, space rugs, especially Jet Reno's. But it all comes to the fore there that obviously he's given the game away. He's given his side a bit of an advantage and he's conceded. And she's the bestest ever. And, he apologizes. Oh, yeah, obviously well played. You're the better side. And she's just doing it for smug to bitchness. I can't imagine that at all. None of the characters in this show are smug beyond the point where you want to actually headbutt them. You know? Oh, crikey. This show is painful. Holly Hunter was in a film once where her character derived physical and sexual arousal from car crashes. And that's exactly what this entire series is so far. And they have a bit of a meandering discussion about how good and how bestest they are ever. And Genesis, she's the bestest ever. Now she's the captain of the team. And she's got one up on her direct competitor, Zolo. And then the penny kind of drops for Caleb. And then he has a bit of a chat about it later with the old smugness herself. And, well, you put that idea in my head. Yes, it's all about planting seeds, you know? And I suppose, in a way, somebody was asking, did you pick up the analogy of this? And my take from this was, the people in education establishments put seeds into young minds which sprout into really horrible, disgusting weeds. You can't not say socialism. Is this a metaphor for socialism? Look how smug we are. We're the better people. Meh, meh, meh. And Caleb's like, yeah, you're right. You took a chance on me because I'm Ice Boy. And then obviously best friend's Les, and she, it comes out that she was the biggest pranker. She's definitely something that rhymes with pranker. And yet again, the feet are out. This is the Chancellor of Starfleet Academy. She's rolling around like crazy old granny. I bet she stinks like cat piss. I bet, honestly, she's got 10 cats at home. And old Ruggy McMunch there is just looking at her in total disbelief like, you're the bestest ever. I don't understand. If you were any other person, I would kill you where you stand. And then we have a bit of team building because, these guys are the best in Starfleet. The best and brightest. Derham concedes his overachievingness and says to Genesis, you're the bestest ever. You should be the team captain. Everybody gets surprised. Look, even Captain Whitey there, he's not even a captain, is he? Even the mascot gets one. But Caleb's like, hang on a minute, I'm a bit too cool to be hanging around with you guys. I'm Ice Boy after all. But Genesis is like, come on, you're part of the team. We're not complete without you. You've got to get your, are they called varsity jackets? Them like high school sports coats things. Can you fill me in on that, Esther?
No, not really.
No. Okay. I like that. It's like talking to somebody in a studio on Talkback. It's like, hello, Stephen, this is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me? But anyway, yeah, he's the best. There's not been anybody better than this. Oh, God. This is painful to watch. And what makes it even worse is I'm going to have to watch this crap next Thursday so we can talk about episode 4. But, protected plants, if you put them in place, you protect those seeds, you can reap the rewards later. Next week is called Vox in Excelsior. Oh, I dread to think what that's all about. January 29th, that's apparently scheduled for next Thursday. And I'm so not looking forward to it. Ardent Party says, Millennium Falcon looking logo. It really is. Ha ha! Smilex. Yes! Nice toast of London reference there. Indeed! My balls are about to fizz. Eraserhead says, man, that logo is ugly. It truly is. This whole show is particularly ugly as well. I've not rattled the old tin tonight at all. Crikey. Just to let you know, memberships are back on YouTube, and you can also help out over at patreon.com/TrevRetro. Thank you to everybody who chucked me a super tonight. Really do appreciate that. Really enjoyed the chat tonight. You've been absolutely wonderful. What's this? Paul Dickinson says, Terry Metallis feels like a very long time ago. Yes, he gave us member berries. Yeah. Oh, UK video clips. I've got to put that on the screen. Sorry, I need to say this. I've not found one bird that's Sherman tankable, so not Star Trek. Yeah. Do you know what? I think I'd kind of be quite happy and grateful for B'Elanna Torres around now. Anyway, this coming Tuesday on Just Great Movies, we're going to do a really bad good movie, right, starring James Spader. Oh, last minute. Tin Clank. Not Brian, for £10 wrenched. Thank you ever so much, Brian. That is so kind of you. I really do appreciate that. We're talking about Supernova. Every time James Spader does sci-fi, it doesn't really work out well for him. He did Stargate. That wasn't particularly a massive hit for him. It's a bit of a turning point in his career. But it actually did wondrous things for Kurt Russell's career during the 90s. But Spader had another crack at doing sci-fi in 2000. He was 40 at the time, did Supernova. It's also got Lou Diamond Phillips in there, Angela Bassett, Robert Forster from The Black Hole, and a bunch of other people who were really unremarkable. Thank you to Ardent Party for $2 Canadian. Ka-friggin' plonk, indeed. And on that note, thank you, Esther. We'll catch up with you all next week. Don't forget to like the video, comment down below what you're enjoying and what you're not enjoying. Hopefully, and I'm really disappointed tonight. I was expecting some trolls. Maybe we were going to get them last night, But obviously things didn't pan out because of technical difficulties. But brand spanking new computerage. So that's kind of helped things out. Skyfire for $5. A few quid for you. Thank you ever so much. Thank you for all the supers at the final hour. Here's a trailer for this coming Tuesday. Cheers, Esther. Next week on Just Great Movies, James Spader does space with a bit of help from Robert Forster, who was in The Black Hole. It's danger, it's peril, it's a bit crap, but it's also a bit good. Supernova, next Tuesday from 9.